Many years ago, I had felt that I'd like to give a jazz concert. And I'd met George Gershwin, who was a kindred spirit, and we both felt that maybe once a year, even in the hallowed halls of the symphony, maybe jazz could come in and play a rather important jazz work. I'm pretty mouthy, and I talked about this for a couple of years and didn't give the concert. And George and I talked about it many times and had decided on the title, which would be the Rhapsody in Blue, because I felt and George agreed with me, that it would be silly to write a symphony which demands certain form. Architecturally, it's pretty complicated, and it doesn't allow too much free movement. And a rhapsody, of course, means that you can rhapsodize, you can wander all around. And as I said, we talked about it a great deal. One day my manager came to me and said, "Hey, your biggest competitor has just hired the Metropolitan Opera House and is going to give a jazz concert." And I said, "Over my dead body." Pretty much body in those days, too. I think I weighed 327 pounds. So I went around looking for a hall, and I couldn't find one, and I finally was able to get Aeolian Hall, but only one day in the whole calendar, practically, and that was the afternoon of Lincoln's birthday. That would be February 12th, 1924. So I immediately hired the hall, and then I called the newspapers up and told them that I was going to give the concert, which would be the first jazz concert, which was the first jazz concert. And I'd get home around 4 o'clock, and I'd barely got to sleep at about 6 o'clock when George Gershwin called me up. I guess he'd been restless and went down the corner and got the paper and came back and read it. And he said, "Hey, I see you're going to give your jazz concert." I said, "That's right." But he said, you expect me to do the Rhapsody in Blue? And I said, "That's right." But he said, "It's within 2 weeks." And I said, "You're right again. That's 3 times. You're in instead of out." And he said, "Well, it would take me at least 6 months to gather this important thematic material for such a very important work." "Oh," I said, "you're talking like us symphony fellas now. You better put up your hair, because hot or cold, the body goes out in 2 weeks." And I said, "You've been thinking about it for a couple of years. You must have a lot of ideas." Well, he started to work, and each night he would bring us a page of the composition to the Palais Royal when we would finish. Freddie Grofé would orchestrate it that night. We would rehearse it the next day, and I can honestly say that when he dotted the last note, we were only one dot behind him. We were ready to play it.